Hello and welcome to another Assassin's Creed Valhalla guide. Before we start, if you enjoy and find this content useful, please consider hitting that subscribe button to support the channel and ring the bell to be notified when more videos go live. Today we're going to be looking at the legendary beasts throughout the game, their locations and the best strategies to employ in order to defeat them. I'm going to go through these in the order that I defeated them, although depending on your playstyle you may find it easier doing these in a slightly different order. The end result, however, will still be the same. First on our list is the Beast in the Hills. For this you're going to want to head to the Midlands of Shropshire, just east of the Rocken Offering Altar. Here you'll find a cliffside with a doorway built into it. Follow the short series of corridors all the way down and you'll find a crawl space that leads into a massive wine cellar. Here you'll find an equally massive bear. This particular beast isn't too much more difficult to defeat than the standard bears you find roaming the wilderness. The only notable difference is the amount of health it has. You can avoid taking too much damage by sticking close to the rear of the bear. Here you'll be able to get several hits off at a time and the bear will struggle to hit you at all. The bear will eventually start to try and run away to one of the corners in the room. Stick to its side until it stops and rinse and repeat the previous tactic until the bear is defeated. Try not to let the bear get into a corner, as its unblockable attacks will hurt you a lot, and the last thing you want to do is not to be able to get to its rear end. Next, you want to head to the north part of Oxenfordshire. Here you'll find the Corpse Eaters, 3 wolves varying in size and strength. The challenge of this fight is having to deal with all 3 wolves at the same time. The best tactic here is to simply wait for them to attack and dodge. Keep doing this until one of the wolves separates from the others, and when you see your opening you'll be able to get a fair few blows in. If you have the explosive arrow tips, these are useful to stagger one of the wolves to help give you an opening. There's no particular order I'd say you're best killing the wolves in, just focus on whichever one does separate from the group at a time. There are some structures in the arena you can trap the wolves behind. If you do this with one at a time, it does make the fight much more bearable. Keep an eye out for when they're all howling together, however, as they will try to regenerate health. This is a double-edged sword though, as it does give you an opportunity to get a fair few attacks in whilst they're stationary. The next beast is in the southeast of East Anglia. You'll find the Black Shuck in what looks like the ruins of an ancient temple. This beast is relatively simple to defeat. It is quick, so landing blows on it can be difficult to begin with. However, if you do parry one of its many blockable attacks, it will stagger the beast, giving you ample time to get a fair few strikes in. Repeat this several times and you'll be able to perform a stun attack, by which point this single attack will likely put the beast down for good. If not, just rinse and repeat the previous tactic and you will have defeated it in no time. Next area on the list is in the south of Hamptonshire, just southwest of Winchester. Here there will be a wooded area and a clearing. In the clearing you'll find the Wildcats of the Weald, a large and a small lynx. Similar to the corpse feeders, the challenge here is fighting more than one beast at a time. However, the explosive arrow tips here work wonders. First focus on the larger lynx, as the smaller lynx is no different to what you find in the wild. Use your explosive arrows to stagger the beast and you'll get a few blows in. You can recharge your adrenaline gorge by attacking while they're staggered and if necessary and parry one of their many blockable attacks. Again, try to keep the two separate from one another to make the fight as easy as possible. The benefit to using the explosive arrows here is the burning damage they receive for a few seconds after the initial explosion. If you have runes that deal fire damage, make sure to have these equipped as well so you can stack the burning effect for as long as possible. Repeat the same process for the smaller lynx. The next beast is located in the north of Lincolnshire, just north of the most northeastern viewpoint. Here you'll find the Gemad Wolf. Again, I found this easiest to use explosive arrow tips to stagger the wolf and then get a few hits in while it's stunned. Every quarter or so of the wolf's health you take off, it will jump out of the arena and send in waves of normal wolves. Take these out as quickly as possible, as you only have a few seconds before the Gemad Wolf either jumps back into the arena and starts to attack you as well, or before it starts to try to heal itself. As long as you keep on top of the waves of normal wolves, as and when it calls them in, this beast is actually quite a straightforward fight, and it's just a case of rinsing and repeating the same tactic until you put it down. Next, you're going to want to head to the south of Irvishire. Here you'll find the blood swine. This, I personally think, is by far the easiest of the beasts to kill. It is essentially just a boar with slightly more health than the standard boars you'd find roaming in the wild. The only real difficulty here is seeing when it runs into the fields. However, if you just keep your distance and keep an eye out for the distinct red glow of the unblockable attack when it's about to charge, it's easy enough to roll out of the way and get a few hits in while it recovers. Again, if you can hit it with the explosive arrows, the burn effect can speed this up significantly. Next, head to the northeast part of Sussex and you'll find a marker for Alfred's Battle Sow. This is one of the more challenging fights if you're not prepared for it, not because the beast itself is too difficult to defeat, but because of the amount of bulls in the arena. These have significantly more health than the other animals you may be used to coming across, and because they all move together, separating them can be incredibly difficult. You should be able to get the Battle Sow's health down to roughly half before the other bulls start to become a real problem. From this point, try to draw the bulls away from the Battle Sow and deal with them before attacking it any further. The bulls drop rations when you kill them, so any lost health is reasonably simple to regain. Once you've dealt with the bulls, it is now time to kill the Battle Sow. Similarly to the beast in the hills, try to stick to its rear end and just keep an eye out for the glow of an unblockable attack. When it bucks, it can still hit you even if you're behind it, so simply roll backwards away as soon as you see that glow and wait for it to finish its attack. Once it's finished, just jump straight back in until it's defeated. For the next few beasts, you will have needed to have levelled up your settlement to the point where you have the Atlas. Firstly, you'll want to travel to Vinland. Once here, head north of the most central viewpoint and you'll find an arena with the Oyandene. This is similar to the stags, elk and deer you'll find in the wild. The challenge here is that you can't take any of your own weapons or armour to Vinland, so you'll have to speak to the merchants and trade for new armour and weapons there. These won't do nearly as much damage or protect you anywhere near to the extent as your normal armour would. However, this beast's health is much lower than those previously and its attack is much weaker. So as long as you keep an eye out for any unblockable attacks, this isn't going to be too challenging in an encounter. It's quite easy to stick to the beast's side and back where it's safest and get a fair few strikes in at a time, so this one shouldn't hold you back for too long. Next, you're going to need to travel to Norway. First of all, head into this location west of the Tornberg settlement. Here you'll find the Elk of the Bloody Peaks. This is essentially the same fight as the previous one, except this time you have your own armour and weapons, making it a much simpler experience. Repeat the same tactic as employed previously in Vinland and this fight will be over incredibly quickly. Next, head to this small island in the centre of Hordefijk. Here you'll find the Bear of the Blue Waters. This is a massive polar bear, much stronger than the ones you'll find in the wild, with much more health and better defence than even the Beast of the Hills you killed earlier from this guide. The best tactic I found was to use your longship to reach the island and leave it docked right next to the island. Here you'll be able to trap the bear between you and your longship. It will still be able to damage you, but the archers on your boat will also attack the bear. Although the damage they do is minimal, it is enough to keep the bear from focusing solely on you. Again, stick to its rear and side and you should be able to dispatch of this beast in due course. Just keep an eye out for any unblockable attacks and try to keep it close to the side of the island. Once defeating this beast, if it's the last beast on your list, you will unlock the trophy/achievement Master Hunter. Now, for the trophies you receive for killing the individual beasts, if you have the Hunter's Hut constructed in your settlement, you can now take those trophies there and trade them for various rewards, from weapons to tattoo designs. The trophies from your kills will also be available to view in your longhouse. Although you have already received the Master Hunter trophy, or achievement, in order to get the Completionist trophy or achievement, there is one more beast you will have to defeat. And this one is easily one of, if not the hardest enemies in the game. In order to find this beast, you'll have needed to progress enough in the story to be able to go to Jotunheim. Once there, head to the northeast of the map. Here you'll find an arena on a frozen lake and the legendary beast Steinborn. The mythical bear has rocks for armour, so you'll be doing very minimal damage to this bear for the entirety of the fight. To begin with, sticking to its side and getting as many blows in as possible will work for you. However, After some time, it will start to throw shards of ice at you and produce small earthquakes which cause rocks to come up from the ground, doing maximum damage to you. For this reason, I wouldn't suggest attempting this beast until you're at least level 400 and have semi-decent armour and weapons. If you have the explosive arrow tips upgraded, these can help you massively. The burn damage doesn't count for a great deal, however if you can keep hitting him and your armour and your weapons are set up to deal fire damage, this burn effect can be extended for the majority of the fight. The secondary explosions of the arrows will also deal a decent amount of damage. When it looks as though the ice starts to form on the actual bear itself, if you aim for these, you will do maximum damage. Once all of them have been destroyed, it will stagger Steinborn, giving you time to get a few hits in. Repeat this every time the ice forms on the bear and roll out of the way of any projectiles, and eventually it will go down. Although you don't get a trophy for killing the beast itself, and it doesn't count towards your Beast Hunter Trophy achievement, you will need to kill it in order to 100% the game. That is all from me today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this guide, and don't forget, if you have enjoyed it or you find this content helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and ring that bell to be notified when even more content goes live. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.